You set a goal and you're excited. You're energized. You're in. This is it. This is the thing. This is what you've been looking for. And maybe a few days, maybe a few weeks, you're committed. You're making progress. You're doing the work. And then you see something else, a different path, a different opportunity, a different goal. And you think, wait, hold on a minute. Maybe that's the thing. Maybe that's what I should be doing instead. So you stop, you switch, you start over, and the cycle repeats. You're constantly starting, but you're never finishing because you can't stick with anything long enough to see it through. And you think the problem is discipline or focus or commitment, but it's not. The problem is you're overthinking whether this is the right goal. And because of that overthinking, it's keeping you stuck. So let's talk about why you can't stick with your goals and what to actually do about it. So, first, let's be clear about what's really happening here. This isn't about laziness. This isn't about a lack of willpower. This isn't about not wanting it enough. This is about a chronic second guessing. You start something and then you immediately start questioning whether it's the right thing. And that questioning creates doubt, and doubt creates hesitation, and hesitation kills momentum. So you don't stick with the goal, not because it's not working, but because you're not sure if it's the right goal to begin with. And as long as you're questioning it, you really can't commit to it. And without commitment, you're not going to finish. So why can't you stick with your goals? Well, one of the first reasons is because you're chasing the feeling of starting, not the outcome of finishing. Because starting feels good, it feels exciting, it feels like possibility. Like this could be the thing that changes everything. So you start, and for a little while, you ride that high. You're energized, you're motivated, you're convinced that this is it. But then the excitement fades. The novelty wears off, and what's left is just the work. The boring, repetitive, unglamorous work of actually doing the thing. And that doesn't feel so good anymore. So you start looking for the next thing, the next goal, the next project, the next hit of that new beginning energy. And you find it, and you start again, and the cycle continues. You're not sticking with your goals because you're addicted to the feeling of starting, not the result of finishing. And the second reason is because you're overthinking whether this is the right path. You start working toward a goal and then you start questioning it. Is this what I really want? Is this the best use of my time? What if there is a better path? What if I'm wasting effort on the wrong thing? And those questions create doubt. And doubt makes it hard to commit because if you're not sure that this is the right goal, then why would you go all in? Why would you put in the effort if it might be the wrong direction? So you hedge, you keep one foot out, you stay flexible just in case you need to pivot. That hesitation kills your momentum because you're not fully committed. You're just testing, and testing doesn't build results. Commitment does. So you don't stick with the goal, not because it's not working, but because you're not sure it's worth sticking with. And the third reason is because you see other people doing something different and you think you're missing out. You're working on your goal, and then you see someone else succeeding over there with a different goal, a different path, a different approach. And you start thinking to yourself, well, maybe that's the thing. Maybe that's what I should be doing. So you abandon your goal and you chase theirs because their path looks shinier. It looks easier. It looks like it's working a little bit better. But here's what you're missing. Their path is working for them because they stuck with it. They didn't keep switching. They didn't keep chasing the next shiny thing. They committed, and commitment is what made it work. But you don't see that. You just see the result. And you think the path is what matters. So you keep switching paths, and you never stick with anything long enough to see it work. The fourth reason is because you're looking for certainty before you commit. You want to know that this is the right one. You want proof that it's going to work. You want reassurance that you're not wasting your time. But you can't have that certainty. Not before you commit, not before you put in the work. Certainty only comes after you've tried, after you've tested, after you've given it enough time to see if it works. But you're trying to get certainty first. Because you can't, you don't fully commit. You stay halfway in, you keep your options open, you wait to see if it's working before you really go all in. But it's not going to work if you don't go all in. Results come from commitment, not from testing. So you're stuck, waiting for proof before you commit. But the proof only comes after you commit. So, how do you actually stick with your goals? Well, the first thing you need to do is commit to the goal, not the feeling. Stop chasing that excitement of starting. Stop focusing on the outcome of finishing. The excitement will fade. It always does. And if you're relying on that feeling to keep you going, you're going to quit as soon as it's gone. So commit to the goal not because it feels good, but because it's what you decided matters. And when the excitement fades, keep going anyway, because finishing doesn't require excitement, it just requires commitment. The second thing you need to do is stop overthinking whether this is the right path. You picked this goal for a reason. Maybe it's not perfect. Maybe it's not the absolute best path, but it's good enough. And good enough is better than constantly switching because switching doesn't get you closer to anything. It just keeps you starting over. And starting over doesn't build results. So stop questioning, stop second guessing, just commit to this path and see it through. You can adjust later, you can pivot if it's not working, but you can't know if it's working if you don't give it enough time. The third thing you need to do is stop comparing your path to everyone else's. Their path is working for them because they stuck with it, not because it's better, not because it's easier, because they committed. And your path will work for you if you do the same thing. If you stop switching, if you stop chasing, if you just commit. So stop looking at what other people are doing. Stop thinking the grass is somehow greener over there. Just focus on your goal and stick with it. And the fourth thing you need to do is accept that certainty isn't coming. You're not going to know if this is the actual right goal until you finish it. You're not going to have proof that it's working until you've put in the work. So stop waiting for certainty. Stop waiting for reassurance. Just commit. Pick the goal, stick with it, and trust that the results will come if you give it enough time. Because they will, but only if you stop switching, only if you stop second guessing, only if you commit. Here's what I want you to think about. What's one goal you've been second guessing? And what would it look like to just commit to it? No more questioning, no more hedging your bets. Just go all in. Not because you're certain it's the right goal, but because you've decided it's good enough. And good enough is worth committing to. Because the problem isn't the goal. The problem is you keep switching goals before you get to finish any of them. So pick one, commit to it, and see it through. If you are an overthinker and you want more support on your journey as you work through whatever's keeping you stuck, you can explore the options to work with me by going to natehooks.com. The link is in the description below. And until next time, remember, you're not sticking with your goals because you keep second guessing them. So start questioning, start committing.